Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to Wakefield, and hopefully you'll just be listening to me for a very short time this morning. Chris was very kind to slip me in. Can you all hear me clearly? Yes? Good. That's good. I hope this will be an interesting announcement for you. But first of all, am I all right there? Yeah. First of all, I thought I'll take the opportunity just to borrow a couple of minutes and give you some just general Orpheus internet news as well. Over the next few months, we're going to be launching several new servers. Now, obviously, we have to replace equipment, same as people do at home with desktop machines, but we're on a slightly tighter regime than you are. So we've got some new ones coming along. And the two that are most probably of interest to my customers is that we will have a new server dedicated for the web hosting, and we'll have another machine that we hope to actually start doing VPSs on, virtual private servers. So at that point, rather than someone saying, I have spent £5,000, here's a piece of equipment, would you put it in your rack and look after it for us, we can actually say, well, what sort of spec do you want? And we can apportion you processor, RAM, hard drive space. We give you access to it, and then you go off and you do whatever it is you want to do with your virtual private server. So some people have old machines and they want to move them, but they don't want to replace them. So this is a cost-effective way of doing this electronically. So that's good news, I hope. That's another service that we can offer you. And with the new web server, it'll be more customizable by the customers. Now, we can't do any and all of this. I'm sorry, I can't read this from up here. Age is affecting me. My eyesight keeps on changing. So, if that's all right, I'm going to sit down. Is that still okay for you? Right. Sorry about the... Right. I've just messed up your video now, haven't I? Okay, let's try this again. We can't do this. I can't do all these changes and things without customers, and you have to keep getting new customers, and thankfully we do. Word of mouth, references from our long-term and loyal customers, some of whom I'm sure are in this room. For that, Paul before me would have said thank you to you, and I certainly say thank you for staying with us over all these years. Just to let you know, some of the projects that Orpheus has been involved in, because you're most probably not aware of all the things that I get up to on the phone sometimes. We helped with the ARM Mini through to the ARM Mini X. We're a co-founder of the consortium that brought to you the ARM X6 machine. You always see one on my stand and hear me talking about it, followed up with go and talk to Andrew now and give him the money. But so we were part of that. We've also done beta testing and just general encouragement with different developers and different bits of software over the years, saying, well, could we have this, could we have that? This is what my customers have come back to me. So if someone has a whinge at me about something that isn't working, sometimes they actually do get back to the writers. So hopefully you've all benefited from that and had bits of software improved. Again, none of this is possible without having you as customers. I hope that what this actually shows that us at Orpheus do, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's with the various partnerships, we or I am very serious and dedicated to making suggestions, recommendations and projects working. And I hope that the way that we do this, when I'm meeting you at the is that we deal with you in a professional and sensible manner. Now, this leads me on to our next bit, and this is the main announcement that this section was about. You've most probably read, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to read this. I do apologise, but there's a fair amount of stuff to say to you. So you may have read in various sources that report on RISC OS matters that a new company called RISC Developments Limited was recently formed and filed at Companies House. This new company has 2 directors, myself and Andrew Rawnsley. So, why have we done this? Over a period of time, requests come to me from private, personal, business, suggestions and propositions. You know, can you do this? Or what about that? Wouldn't it be nice if RISC OS had this, that or the other? And this has gone on for quite a few years. And it's been, as I say, very nice to hear these things. Some of them have been referred on to other people, and other things have been, well, yeah, that would be nice to do. Could we do this? These projects have covered both software and hardware. Now, I'd like to explain to you what happened at the Southwest Show this year. A specific request was made to me about another project, again, at the show. This is one that's come up on more than one occasion. Again, it's for the RISC OS market. On this occasion, rather than saying to the person, well, that's going to cost £40,000, would you like to give me the money? And at that point, yes, I'll be only too happy to organise and arrange it and get it all done. You have to remember, I'm not a programmer. So this has come out in talks before where people have asked me various questions and I had to say I can't answer that. So I'm not a programmer, but I'm happy to arrange things, to talk to people, to make phone calls, to make connections. This time round, as I say, I didn't say it's going to cost £40,000. I actually came back and said to them, well, what is this project worth to you and how much would you promise to me to make it happen? There was a pause, there was some thought, and the answer came back, okay, how about £2,000? So that's a sum of money. And possibly, if the project's going well and you're a little bit short, I can provide you with some more. So that was my very first response from the person that had said, why don't you do XXX? So with such a positive reply, I said, okay, I'll see if I can get this project off the ground and see what we can do. As you all know, I've partnered with Andrew on more than one occasion, so it seems sensible because Andrew's more technical and I'm more chatty on the phone. If you've rung me up, you'll know. So we spent a few hours over drinks, and we've done this before, other shows. So we had a chat, and both our companies, we feel, really do try to support RISC OS. We put things back in. There have been lots of benefits from the ARMX6 project that has come back just to RISC OS itself. You all have benefited from that. So we felt that it was worth me going round a list of people that I had drawn up to say, what is it worth to you? So I've spent an awful lot of time calling people and asking if they would like to support this project. That's happened throughout March and through into the beginning of April. Now, we've had donations for this from £1,000 and up. And I've collected a lot of promises from people so that we've been able to achieve some of the estimates that Andrew and I have come up with for this project. I've continued to visit and call people, but it did become very clear that to handle all the money that has been promised and that we actually have coming in now, that we needed a company dedicated specifically to run this. And also, more importantly, hopefully future projects as well. So on the 5th of April, very carefully planned to avoid April the 1st, RISC OS Developments Limited was formed. Our first project we intend to pursue is a large one, and currently we're looking into all the possibilities of how to achieve this before we go forward. So we're looking at programmers, we're looking at sources, we're looking at a time frame to do the project in that is sensible. Do we use one programmer? Do we use several? Will this timing be several months, or will it be a year and a half? Goals and reality, rarely do these things meet and work out to our expectations. So if you put your car in for a service, I'm sure you've all had this. I'm just having a service. Oh, bother. Something else has gone wrong. So we're going to have the same thing. We've got various things woven here. We've got the project. We've got RISC OS itself as it pertains to this project. And then we've got RISC OS in general. We've also looked at the fact that there are tools that enable the software programmers to do their jobs. So that has to be considered going forwards. How is that best going to be served? So we're not just looking at one particular product. We're actually looking really at a whole family of things. And that's why we've drawn this project together with this company, with money that we've got coming in. I'm going to continue to talk to people regarding financial matters. Although, as I said, our first financial milestone has been reached. We've got further ideas that we'd like to pursue. Andrew is going to take care of the technical side. And our other consultants are looking at as many of the aspects of this as we can. We're going to try and leave no stone unturned to make certain that once we get started, we are going to complete and deliver to the RISC OS world in general. What is the project? Well, it's almost as good as a game show, this. Whilst we know what we want to do, and we've got the finance available, we're still looking at recruiting staff, we're still doing the R&D, so a timescale is very difficult to pin down. Once we have those things in place, then we're going to make a formal announcement. I'm very happy that I can actually say, no, it's not a new logo. The money we're talking about is most probably going to be the biggest amount that has been spent in the RISC OS world since RISC OS Limited purchased their agreement from Pace some, 15, 20 years ago. So if you are considering or thinking that you might like to place an investment, then currently, for various reasons, only amounts of a reasonable size can be accepted. We will have a scheme for smaller amounts, but we would start that after announcing the project formally so that people know then what we're talking about. If you want to come and see me today, I have NDA forms. So if you are thinking of substantial investment, come and see me, sign the form, and then I will tell you what this is about. But by signing the form, that doesn't mean you have to sign another form called a cheque afterwards. There is absolutely no way that we would make anyone get stuck with something like this. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope it won't be very long until we actually announce formally this exciting project for everyone in full detail. So do enjoy the rest of the speakers and the rest of the show. Someone has a question.
Yeah, so RISC OS Open here, we're super excited about this. This is brilliant. It's sorting the community needs. So one question, projects you're running, do you see them contributing back into the community in terms of deliverables or in terms of contributions back into the source code as well?
Hopefully both.
Right, cool.
There's more than one way of raising money. I don't know what you consider, but I see on some website that you've already got 30,000 in shares. I mean, that's one way to get money in, but also interest-free loans.
Yes. We won't discount anything. So if somebody has an idea about how to raise money, then come and talk to me. Maybe at the show, that's most probably not the best place to have that sort of conversation. But come by the stand. I've got plenty of cards. Pick up a card, give me a phone call. I would imagine I'm going to be very busy on the phone talking to lots of people.
Can you please define what you consider a reasonable investment?
We've had people placing money with us, £1,000, £2,000 and upwards from there. So that's the sort of area that we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Mark?
When you say investment, these are people who are putting the money in the expectation of getting not a financial return on the money, but a return in kind. So it's not like invest your pension fund in it.
Absolutely not. No. No, that's right. We're taking this money. We will spend it as wisely as possible. I will not be getting a new car. If you see that, then start raising questions. But it is a limited company, so we have to file returns, we have to file accounts. There has been problems in the past in RISC OS where money has gone to projects and things have not happened. We don't envisage that happening. With the best will in the world, I can't promise that, but I'm 99% sure, otherwise I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. So we will be delivering something to you. And it will be for everybody.
I may have missed this. What do the investors get in return?
They get what everybody else gets.
Do you get shares or?
They get shares. They have to have shares because of the way tax is. Most people, if you're investing in something and you lose the money, you want to write it off against capital gains and things like that. It was the easiest way that we could find without getting very complicated to do the setup of the company. As it is at Companies House, that information is available at the moment. So
Same class of shares as the directors have?
there are A shares and B shares. The B shares are the general shares. They are non-voting shares. There are 3 A shares, which are the 3 main shareholders of the company. Again, you can have a look at that at Companies House.
You say you will not say what the project is until the money has been got together. Please understand. But what rough figure have you in mind at which point you could then say what the project is? You mentioned
No, we know what the project. We know what the project is, and we've raised enough to do the project as far as we are concerned. There are ongoing things that we still need to raise money for, but the project is now a go. We will announce what the project is once we have in place the people. We know where and how we're going to do the project, and then with those 2 in place, we should have an approximate timeline. What I would hate to do is say to you today, we are going to rule the world, and this is going to happen in 18 months' time. At the moment, we have no timescale, and as with all sorts of projects, various things can happen. It may be that we don't get the staff available and they're not sorted for another 3 months. At that point, if you've just promised something in 12 months, you've then got 9 months to do it. That's why we've not announced it. As soon as we have staff employed to do this work, that's when we will make the announcement.
but you do not have a definite target figure, simply a hopeful X donations.
We have achieved our first target that we wish to achieve. So that has been done. So, but we now have ongoing things. Again, unfortunately, because I'm not going to tell you what the project is, I can't explain fully what's going on, not in general public at the moment. Sorry about that. I think I'm just on my time.